Gevilom chendo pajasila no shitamche rinchen ter dangso, temshirkan la shendi me baya zopa gomba jasilaglayan. For the Bodhisattva aspiring to the wealth of virtue, every harm is like a precious treasure. Thus, without resentment toward any being, cultivating patience is the practice of Bodhisattva. This verse expresses the key principle of patience, gzanti, Sanskrit. Patience, paramita, which is one of the 6 paramitas in Mahāyāna Buddhism. So again, bodhisattvas want to develop this paramita patience to benefit themselves and all other beings. For bodhisattvas actively involved and practice in each and every time, something goes wrong, it becomes an opportunity for the cultivation of patience rather than viewing an obstacle as a basis for resentment. So important, right? Here it says, every harm is like precious treasure. Not all, bodhisattva, not me. For bodhisattvas, difficulties are not seen as obstacles, but as opportunity to cultivate patience. Every harm is like precious treasure. You see, the natural human response to harm is anger or resentment, right? But bodhisattvas seek to transcend this, and for them it's like a precious treasure. So if we wish to achieve benefiting ourselves and others, it is absolutely essential that we cultivate patience. Because patience allows us to remain stable, unshaken, responding with understanding rather than hatred. Instead of blaming others, bodhisattvas see the deeper causes of suffering. So practicing patience in the face of harm is the transformation of suffering into spiritual growth. So this practice not only benefit ourselves by reducing suffering, but also benefit others by bringing peace. So to practice patience, you first have to start practicing with yourself. And then, for example, with your parents, and then with your friends, and so on. The first thing you have to do is, I think, not to speak, but remain quiet, not arguing back, and not reacting sort of negatively. Teachers say, this is what you have to do when you get upset. For example, someone hurts you, And because of that, if you get upset in this way, you kind of injure your heart of bodhicitta. And as a result, the heart of bodhicitta is damaged. So your goal is, until you achieve liberation, you must keep your heart of bodhicitta with you at all times, no matter what situation you are in. So you have to treat all enemies, remember, which is the anger that harms you, as your teacher. Then your bodhicitta will grow stronger and stronger. So, but usually we don't really know how strongly we practice the Dharma. Sometimes we feel we are okay, but actually we're not, because when someone hurts us, we get upset. There's no patience. So bodhisattvas say whenever a crucial time comes, you should use that moment as an opportunity to practice Dharma, patience. Good practitioners should be able to deal with whatever obstacles arise. Anger and patience are like good opportunity to practice patience when anger arises in your mind. And, anger and patience are like fire and water, right? If you are angry, you are not being patient. If you are not being patient, then you're not behaving like a bodhisattva. Clearly we can't practice patience with people who are nice and kind. We need people who are not nice. Then we have a chance to practice patience, forgiveness. That is why it says every harm is like a precious treasure. From the Mayan perspective, those who harm you offer the same opportunity for spiritual growth as those who help you. But this is the opposite of how we ordinary beings think, right? Teachers say when Adisha came to Tibet, he brought a person with him, and this person was very disagreeable, argumentative, and Tibetan people complained about him, and actually asked Adisha, you should let him go back. But Adisha explained that this person was very important for his practice of patience. But you should know that patience doesn't mean letting someone do whatever they want. If someone is harming others, you should try to stop them, but you do so without being angry at them. Because, anger, again, destroys the virtue of patience. So anger will destroy your relationships and so on. And impatient people are always frustrated, upset, unhappy with everything. Shantideva said, harmful beings are everywhere like space. So it is impossible to control all of them. Did I say this morning this? But let this anger mind alone be overcome, then all of those are also controlled. So that's fourth paramita. Now the next is Randon Bajik de Pinyara Langola Mesher Dr. Zontona, Dogunton de Yunden Joni, Zundizum Bajatila. Merely for their own sake, even Sharaka and Partikas make efforts as if putting out a fire on their heads, developing even more diligence, the source of good qualities, for the sake of all beings, is the practice of Bodhisattvas. This verse deals with the perfection of diligence, right? The main point of this verse is that Bodhisattvas need tremendous diligence in their practice, because the path of Bodhisattva is long, deep, challenging, because it's motivated not just by personal liberation, but for all beings. That's a deep commitment. So in this verse, it mentions Sharvakas and Partikas. They follow the path of personal liberation, Hinayana. So they have a lesser motivation of only trying to free themselves from samsara. Even with this, they still need to practice diligently. It says here, like fire burns on their head. Fire burns on your head. You would not waste any time, right? You would act immediately to put out the fire on your head. Then how much more must you practice on the path of Bodhisattva? It's deep, it's challenging, it's long. That's why it's diligent practice, paramita. Because when you engage in the Bodhisattva path, you have the great intention of liberating yourself as well as all other beings. So therefore, you need even more practice of diligence. So here, a fire on the head symbolizes the urgency of Dharma practice. Otherwise, you will suffer, like fire makes you suffer. Shantideva also gives an example. It's like when you have a poisonous snake in your lap, you immediately jump into action because it will kill you. So you should act like this with your Dharma practice. So Mahāyāna Bodhisattva path involves a vast intention and profound practice. That's why it says to develop even more diligence, the source of good qualities for the sake of all beings. since bodhisattvas carry the responsibility of guiding all beings, their diligence must be even greater than those who seek only personal liberation, like Mahāyāna. Teachers say, when you see the benefit of happiness through your practices, then your diligence naturally comes. We usually think diligence means kind of forcing ourselves to do something, right? That's wrong. But here, it means joyous effort. Diligence means joyous effort. Joyous effort means having a happy, relaxed mind. So practice in the Dharma develops appreciation and an understanding of the preciousness of life that then inspires self-confidence and an understanding of basic potential. All your wisdom, patience, and bodhicitta grow from diligence effort. So diligence is like the domino effect and bring many beneficial things, not forcing yourself, something that you really don't want to do it. That's not diligence. So in daily life, diligence can mean acting selflessly, overcoming laziness, and engaging wholeheartedly in compassionate activities. Something you really understand deeply and deeper level, diligence will automatically come because you really want it. You're just so happy with it. And then, but we don't have enough diligence. But that's okay. Just keep going as long as you don't give up. So diligence is the most important in Buddhism, Mahāyāna, especially Buddhism. Without diligence, there is no way to achieve enlightenment in this lifetime. But that's totally fine. That's totally fine. As I said this so many times, as long as you practice bodhicitta and investigate your actions, make sure they're positive, then don't worry about achieving enlightenment in this very lifetime. You know, one thing is Buddhism is I just recognize that, you know, these days, younger generations, lots of people, they don't have a goal. You know, sometimes achieve that, okay, I get married, I have children, I make a lot of money, I have everything, but still they feel like dissatisfied, whatever they have, and then they kind of lose their, what is the point, right? There's no goal. But good thing is in Buddhism, there's this goal. What is your goal? Achieve enlightenment. That normal, like worldly people don't have this kind of goal. This is, I think, in Buddhism is very special, this achieve enlightenment as your long-term goal. If you have enough diligence, it's possible to achieve enlightenment in this very lifetime. But if you don't have that kind of diligence, then, you know, practice bodhicitta, all this, and then, you know, eventually, so you have a goal. So you just don't think, oh, this life is pointless. What is the point? The point is achieve enlightenment for the sake of other sentient beings. So that's good, right? Okay, good. Then the 29th verse is Shirnirabdadambi langtongi nyumo number jombar shifini zugmejinli yandak diba something gumba jasilaglen. Understanding that disturbing emotions are destroyed by special insight with calm Biden, cultivating meditative stability that transcends the four formless states is the practice of Bodhisattvas. So this paramada, samadhi, meditative concentration. So usually our minds are not really focused on meditation. We are constantly distracted by non-stop thoughts and disturbing emotions. So we need this paramita, these two methods, which is special insight with calm abiding. Special insight is we call some what do we call it? Vipassana, right? The wisdom that realizes emptiness, and calm abiding calms the mind and provides the clarity necessary for insight to arise. So Vipassana can only arise within a stable shamatha practice. And the combination of these two great methods can eliminate disturbing emotions. So it says, to cultivate meditative stability that transcends the four formless states. See, the four formless states are very, very deep concentration and advanced meditative states in Buddhism. So the first state is called infinite space. Okay? In this state, meditators experience one-pointness of mind. The second state is called infinite consciousness. In this state, they focus on inner stillness and deeper concentration without thoughts. They experience only joy and happiness in this state. Then the third state is called nothingness. In this state, they focus on the mind and settle into a state where it experiences nothing. And the fourth state is called neither perception nor non-perception. So in this state, they focus on supreme equanimity and mindfulness. So the mind is neither fully perceiving nor completely absent of perception. So in early Buddhist meditation, this is the highest meditative observation, undisturbed stillness. It's an extremely subtle meditative state. But on the Bodhisattva path, Mahāyāna, meditation is not pursued just for the sake of experiencing these kind of formless states. But it's ultimately integrated with wisdom. With wisdom brings enlightenment. That's why bodhisattvas need to go beyond these four states, even though they are very deep level of samadhi, but they're still within samsara. So therefore, bodhisattvas integrate wisdom. Sometimes they call it special insight, right? Wisdom, this kind of wisdom, special insight. And make sure that meditation is not just about calm, no, stillness, but also about ultimate realization with wisdom. And just deep meditation alone will not diminish all these emotions, afflictions. So you must unite it with wisdom, awareness that realizes emptiness and clarity. And awareness is an inner wisdom that gives you the ability to see things more clearly. And with concentration, you are able to stay perfectly focused for as long as you want, and your mind will be able to rest, right? And you experience the clarity of mind that comes when it's free from distractions. And with concentration, you can create longer times of awareness so that you can bring your meditation into daily life. In the beginning of spiritual practice, the most important thing is to work with the mind, and the best way to work with the mind is through concentration and wisdom. So through for example, shamatha meditation, you will be able to develop concentration, right, and relaxation. And through vipassana meditation, you'll be able to cultivate recognition of ultimate awareness and clarity, which is the best qualities of the mind itself. A bodhisattva manifests from profound emptiness, inseparable from great compassion. So this, it says, you have to go beyond this four formless state. Remember, I told you, right? Buddha Shakyamuni reached this level, and he did not satisfied because he understood, oh, I have this still subtle, these emotions. That means I'm not achieve enlightenment. I'm still in samsara. I hope you will be able to one day you can read this sutra. It's so beautiful, the Buddha's journey. When you read their kind of suttas, you just don't care. Everything you want to just go and, leave everything there. Follow the Buddha. It's beautiful, but then it comes down when you do it, it's difficult. Okay, that's Paramutta, Samadhi. Now the next, the 30 is Shiramena. Parichinga Zopachangchip Topermani, Tabdadan Korsum Topi Shirab Gumba Jasilani. It says, practicing the five perfections without wisdom cannot attain perfect enlightenment. Thus, with skillful means and free from the three concepts, cultivating wisdom is the practice of bodhisattvas. So here it says, practicing the five perfections without wisdom cannot attain perfect enlightenment, right? It means until we accomplish this wisdom paramuddha, it's impossible to achieve full enlightenment. It's because without wisdom, there's no recognition of the true nature of reality. Shanadewa also says in the wisdom chapter, he says the Buddha taught this entire system of the five paramuddhas for the purpose of wisdom. Therefore, the wisdom paramuddha is essential for properly putting into practice the other five paramuddhas. Right? So without wisdom, for example, we don't know how to practice generosity. Without wisdom, we don't know how to practice discipline. Without wisdom, we always make mistakes. So with a lack of wisdom, we will be practicing the other paramuddhas kind of blindly, right? We're not sure about what we are believing in and what we are aiming for and how to achieve it. So Buddha said, when lacking knowledge, the other five paramuddhas will be blind. Buddha Shakyamuni focused on wisdom. And he thinks this is very important because that's why in Buddhism, the faith, devotion is the foundation of your practice. But without wisdom, then our faith and devotion is blind. So therefore, we must cultivate this wisdom if we wish to develop the action bodhicitta without any mistakes. Do you remember Buddha said after 6 years of his practices, he said, I have discovered a nectar-like wisdom, realization that is infinite, profound, and peaceful. That's what we call enlightenment. So wisdom is not just only having a lot of knowledge or being smart, but wisdom is associated with the ability to live a meaningful life. So think about the definition of bodhicitta. There are two things: focus on sentient beings with compassion, then focus on perfect enlightenment with wisdom. That's the definition of bodhicitta. So there is a compassion, there is a wisdom. So if either of these is missing, it will not be genuine bodhicitta. So in Buddhism, wisdom and compassion must develop together, which is what we call bodhicitta. And then it says, skillful means and free from the three concepts. Do you understand? Three concepts. A bodhisattva must cultivate both skillful means and wisdom. Skillful means are the methods they use when they are practicing the five paramattha's. Skillful means refers to compassionate action, and wisdom makes sure those actions are not based on attachment or anger or ignorance. Right? That's skillful means free from the three concepts. Skillful means, right? And then the free from the three concepts, it says here. It means, for example, the first, for example, generosity, paramita, for example, with a giving, right? First, the emptiness of the giver, the one who performs the action. And then second, the emptiness of the receiver, the one who benefits, right? Then the third, the emptiness of the act of giving, the act of itself, act itself. So bodhisattvas need to constantly hold the view of emptiness of these three concepts. They can do this practice with the realization of great wisdom. That's free from the three concepts. So after developing a foundation of shamatha meditation, you can build the spatial insight free of this concept. When a bodhisattva acts with compassion and with wisdom, their action becomes truly selfless, right? Selfless and truly pure. So this union of wisdom and compassion leads to perfect liberation. So the main practice of bodhisattva is wisdom and compassion through these six paramitas. So generosity, discipline, patience, all with wisdom, compassion. Then that is how to practice action bodhicitta. Okay? That's the last paramita. So this is the summary of the six paramitas. Generosity, these are important. If you practice bodhicitta, this is action bodhicitta. But in order to practice action bodhicitta, first you have to practice in, what do you call it? Aspiration bodhicitta, right? But you need both, relative bodhicitta. So the six paramitas, for example, generosity paramita is the willingness to give others whatever is needed. It helps to overcome attachment. Discipline is avoiding all of the problems that arise from acting, speaking, and thinking harmfully. It helps overcome negative behavior, develop self-control. Patience, paramita, is the ability to endure difficulties without getting angry. It helps to keep calm in the face of difficulties. Then diligence is courageous action, joyful action. It helps to overcome feeling of laziness and stops us from giving up. Then fifth, meditative concentration is a state of mind totally free from mental wandering. It helps to stay focused with relaxation. And then, of course, the last wisdom paramita is the state of mind that understands what is correct, what is incorrect. So it helps to overcome ignorance and confusion. That's all. Six paramitas. That's how you practice six paramitas. In order to practice six paramitas, you need, again, compassion and wisdom. That's all. Thank you very much. Practice six paramitas.